Welcome to the fascinating, complex, and at times, heart-wrenching history of Ukraine and Russia. For over 1,000 years, these neighbors have been bound by intrigue, conflict, unity, and division. Let's unravel this long and twisted tale, shall we? To start this journey, we go back about 1,200 years to the times of the Vikings. Meet Rurik. This Viking leader established the state of Kiev's Rus, uniting parts of what we now know as Russia, Belarus, and Ukraine. Kiev was the bustling capital, and the people embraced Orthodox Christianity, or should I say, Eastern Christianity. Rurik's rule was like the ultimate game of musical thrones. No one could hold the seat for long. When Rurik died, it seemed everyone wanted a piece of the leadership pie, sparking all kinds of squabbles. Sort of like a medieval soap opera without the soap. As internal chaos raged, the Mongols swooped in, bringing even more disruption. However, out of the turmoil rose a new power center, Moscow. Despite being Mongol vassals, the Moscow dynasty maintained its cultural strength and eventually flourished as the Mongol Empire weakened. Around the same time, the Lithuanian dynasty teamed up with Poland to form one powerhouse duo. They ruled over parts of what we now call Ukraine. But guess what? Moscow wasn't having it. Successive Russian leaders like Ivan the Great and Ivan the Terrible, not so subtly named, started to flex their muscles. We're about to enter the confusing, divided period of the 18th and 19th centuries. Ukraine's rich lands and strategic location drew the appetites of the Russian Empire, the Ottoman Empire, and the Austro-Hungarian Empire. By the late 1700s, Russia had taken substantial chunks of Ukrainian territory. And then, just as Ukraine started to assert its own identity, the pressure from its neighbors heightened. Russians pushed hard for Russification, even telling Ukrainians, from now on, no more speaking Ukrainian in schools. You're Russians now. But the Ukrainians remained resilient in their cultural identity. Skipping forward to the 20th century, let's talk about World War I, which shook the globe. Amid the chaos, Ukraine saw a brief glimmer of independence. But soon, the nascent Soviet Union absorbed it once again, transforming it into the Soviet Socialist Republic of Ukraine. Then came the Holodomor in the 1930s, a name that already sounds ominous. Picture this. Soviet-enforced collectivization led to a catastrophic famine. Millions of Ukrainians perished, and today, it remains a contentious historical topic. It's like debating pineapple on pizza, but way more tragic and serious. World War II rolled in like a bad sequel nobody asked for. Nazi Germany invaded, and Ukraine got smashed right in between. Some Ukrainians initially saw Germans as liberators after the horrors of the Holodomor. Others resisted any foreign power, whether German or Russian. Post-war, Ukraine remained under the Soviet umbrella until the 1990s. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 allowed Ukraine to declare independence again. But it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Parts of Ukraine moved closer to the West and NATO, and the other parts of Ukraine were more pro-Russians. Russia was not amused. It's like your neighbor suddenly telling you they're siding with your rival local football team. In 2014, we reached another crucial turning point. The Euromaidan protests, imagine the biggest street party, but with serious political stakes, led to the ousting of Ukraine's pro-Russian president. Russia, seeing an opportunity, annexed Crimea. They said it was to protect Russian interests, but the international community wasn't buying it. And what about eastern Ukraine? It became a battleground for pro-Russian separatists and Ukrainian forces, with Russia covertly and not so covertly providing support. Global politics became like a high-stakes game of chess, but with way more military hardware. Throughout history, Ukraine found itself in the crosshairs of major powers, including the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans saw Ukraine's strategic location on the north coast of the Black Sea as an opportunity for expansion. Speaking of expansion, the Russian Empire didn't just stop at Ukraine. Under the leadership of various Tsars, Russia expanded eastward, becoming the largest country in the world. Meanwhile, Lithuania teamed up with Poland to form the powerful Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, which also had stakes in Ukraine. But remember, even without an official state, the region of Ukraine always harbored a distinct identity. Ukrainians had their language, traditions, and a strong sense of heritage. Despite various powers telling them otherwise, they continued to assert their cultural identity. Post-World War II, Ukraine remained a Soviet republic, and in the 1950s, Russia gifted the Crimea Peninsula to Ukraine, a region vital for access to the Black Sea. Fast forward to the 1990s, and Ukraine once again declared independence as the Soviet Union collapsed. With independence came a new era. Ukraine grew closer to Western Europe and NATO, straining relations with Russia. Massive protests, known as Euromaidan, led to the ousting of a pro-Russian president, and Russia annexing Crimea, a move not recognized internationally. Today, tensions continue to simmer. The relationship between Ukraine and Russia remains complicated, to say the least. Think of them as the world's most dysfunctional couple, constantly on the brink of a major breakup while still being intertwined. If you enjoyed this journey through history, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more fascinating deep dives into world history. Thanks for watching. Remember folks, history isn't just about the past. It's that quirky, sometimes painful, sometimes funny story that shapes who we are today. See you on the next adventure.